The artist that is Prince, making worldwide news today. So your Pratte Pack, one more time on the road with a tribute to Prince Rogers Nelson, where Jimmy K's in New Brighton. This is the legend that is Rick Granati, part of the Beaver County Music Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the Granati brothers, G-Force, and no one better to talk about a man who, he really said earlier today, a hybrid, because there was just about every type of music you could imagine, from rock and roll, hip-hop, jazz, soul, funk. He did it all. Rick.
Yeah, what an amazing artist for our time. After the British invasion and Motown, not too many artists were able to keep doing the culmination of all the music from the past. Prince did it. Very similar to David Bowie. Prince kept reinventing himself, Rob. And what a powerful player. He played so many different instruments. Great performer, great songwriter. What a tragedy.
Now listen, 1978, he's 17 years of age. His first album is released entitled For You. He played all 27 instruments. One of his biggest influences was the great Stevie Wonder. This guy was a great musician.
Oh, he sure was. Some of his guitar solos could remind you a little bit of Jimi Hendrix. To me, he reminded me of Jerry Lee Lewis a little bit on the piano, Little Richard, Chuck Berry. I heard many influences in it.
Chuck Berry, of course, was what he opened up with when he was at the Super Bowl in '07. His next album goes platinum, and I Want to Be Your Lover, the big hit off of that. The guy had multiple hit records in the 80s. He was the artist of the 80s, sold over 100 million records, inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2004, and in Rolling Stone's Greatest Artists 100, he falls at number 27. Talk more about the whole hybrid aspect, because he truly was, as we all were, baptized in the Godfather of Soul, that great sound out of Georgia known as funk. We're talking about James Brown.
I was just going to say, that's the one that we didn't mention, but his moves, his steps, the way he controlled his band, very much like James Brown. But the best artist of all times always used the best of the best, his influences, not to copy so much, but let little pieces of a different artist influence their own personal style and make a hybrid out of it, and sometimes it becomes a new form of music. The Beatles did that with Eddie Cochran, with the Everly Brothers, with Elvis Presley. They used all these different things to influence their sound. They sounded brand new. Once you start listening to the Beatles, you can hear all the direct influences from people from their past. Prince did that so well.
You know, speaking of the Beatles, Prince did an amazing version of While My Guitar Gently Weeps, the George Harrison classic. I want to talk about the Minneapolis sound. Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis went on to do great things with such artists as Janis Jackson. Maurice Day at the time. The original singer was supposed to be Alexander O'Neill. I was talking to my friend PJ Comanchic today, and he started rattling off all of these people who were a part of that Minneapolis sound. Patrice Rushen, Sheila E., Karen White. This guy transcended music, and the thing that he did, he stayed current.
The thing that just keeps coming to my mind is 57 years old. He could have gone another 30 years. It's so sad. Too many people become victims of success. Most people learn to live without it. Very few people learn to live with it.
The Revolution was the first band. Purple Rain, When Doves Cry, Let's Get Crazy, all of those great songs. Then, of course, he becomes the symbol in the early 90s, just the symbol because of the arguments that he was having ongoing with Warner Brothers Records. From 94 to 96, he really upstarted music and more music so he could get out of that contract. He did. He signs with Arista Records, Paisley Park, his own label, The Compound in Minneapolis, where he worked day in and day out, really not only on his own music, but discovering new artists. When you think about him wanting to share, he talked about influences like Miles Davis. He had so much inside of him to give to others. I can't see any reason why any of those people would have failed, and that's one of the reasons why they all went on to become amazing performers in their own right.
Yeah. Well, I prayed today for him early this morning in my morning prayers. I pray that God has mercy on his soul, that he's in the kingdom of God and he's making music there.
How do you really rank him as far as a musician, artist, icon, someone who has global implications. I said this is really as big as Michael Jackson, Elvis, David Bowie, John Lennon.
Yeah, he's in that category. He definitely is. And just think of this. Think of maybe what was to come or what's in the can right now that never was released.
Supposedly 39 songs still ready to be released. So his music and he will live forever. Ladies and gentlemen, we are headed to a place called Fairpoint in Rochester. Why? It's the Rock Legends Award coming up on Thursday of next week at Stage AE. We're going to give you details on that and much more. Rick Renati and I, as your Pratte Pack, is on the road for a Friday night. Great place to hang out, listen to music, and enjoy Jimmy K's in New Brighton.